Hello, everyone. Everyone knows the feeling. You're trying to read an article, sign in, or complete a simple task, and suddenly the internet demands proof of humanity. You click, you zoom in, you solve puzzle after puzzle, and somehow it isn't enough. So today we are going to explain. First of all, CAPTCHA was marketed as a simple idea: keep bots out, let humans in. That was the promise, but the reality has been flipped. Bots evolve faster than these puzzles, while real humans get stuck in loops, misidentified, or outright denied access. The system is failing at its core purpose. So everyone gets hurt by it. But anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a speech here. Okay? So say goodbye to CAPTCHA systems forever. This presentation is made about CAPTCHA and the serious problems it causes, thus the need to end them. Images and screenshots are not made by me and are from Bing Images. This presentation will be recorded live. So, I never expected myself to be in this position. Yes, I felt anxious beforehand, but I wanted to also recognize that my own discomfort is small compared to the daily challenges, discrimination, and exclusion that many people face because of these systems. That's why I feel a responsibility to speak about this. I defended Google in good faith. I trusted them, and I believe that trust was mutual. I stood by them when they were falsely accused because I genuinely believed they were above all those allegations. But something happened that shook that trust, not personally but globally. The consequences extend far beyond me. They affect billions of people. And just give me 1 second. I have to do something. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, consequences extend far beyond me. They affect billions of people. Eventually, I realized that Google's trust me hadn't changed at all. The real problem was malicious third-party actors who manipulated the situation from out the side. I want to be clear. I'm not angry at anyone here. I'm raising my voice only so that it can be heard. My frustration is directed at the unacceptable crisis the internet has faced with CAPTCHA systems, a crisis that has harmed users, eroded trust, and created barriers where none should exist. CAPTCHA systems have become a global failure. Tools like Google's reCAPTCHA, HCAPTCHA, and others claim to protect users, yet in practice they often restrict access instead. They delay mental health. Sorry, they delay people trying to reach essential services, contribute to medical and mental health emergencies, and disproportionately burden those who are elderly, disabled, traumatized, exhausted, or simply trying to help quickly. The web is becoming increasingly hostile to ordinary humans. Fake CAPTCHA pages and redirects are spreading across the internet, imitating Google reCAPTCHA, Cloudflare Turnstile, and other verification tools. Even legitimate sites, including community-driven platforms, have been compromised by these imitations. Even even the even rejection at all. So search engines are now littered with malicious ads and SEO poisoned links. Some browsers and search bars trigger fake bot checks simply from typing a URL, and in some cases, legitimate services experience misconfigurations or abuse that cause real users to be redirected to misleading verification pages. At the same time, AI systems can be manipulated or misled, causing them to give inaccurate responses or fail to recognize legitimate concerns. This isn't just inconvenient, it reflects a broader systemic failure in how the internet handles trust, identity, and user safety. I inadvertently here omitted the verify button for the illustration, but this error message right here that I'm pointing to at on my cursor right here, that is never supposed to happen. So, why is this so dangerous? Access to knowledge is being restricted. Students, researchers, and everyday users are denied access under the are denied access to essential information. Trustworthy platforms are being impersonated, and even privacy-first tools are under attack from misinformation. Users are compelled to use the DuckDuckGo browser, which is partially blocked in China, encountering obstacles such as search assistance due to fraudulent CAPTCHAs, complicating honest research and academic work. In particular, reCAPTCHA version 2 frequently interrupts critical actions such as tuition payments at Mahal College. Previously, I could pass reCAPTCHA without any difficulty. My behavior was consistent, and the system recognized me as a legitimate user. So sometimes I can still get through, but sometimes it's just random for me now. But recently something changed, not because of anything I did, but because the system itself became unreliable. Suddenly I was locked out, misidentified, and pushed into endless loop of verification I could not complete. I didn't even attempt the challenge either, I simply exited before the process had become impossible. For example, when searching for PDFs or JavaScript enabled, ResearchGate presents a verification box that does not load properly. It resembles HCAPTCHA, and it instructs me to enable JavaScript, something I cannot do in that context. I know I'm not alone. Millions of users encounter similar issues every day. These failures disrupt education, research, work, and access to essential information. Large companies have not always communicated clearly about these problems, and that silence has left many users feeling unheard and unsupported. Whether the cause misconfiguration, external abuse, or simple oversight, the impact is real. The harm is real, and the silence is difficult to ignore. It is important to clarify that Google is not at all a villain. They are not the villain. They are not the antagonist or anything in this story. Everything we've seen points to external interference, hackers, and third-party actors manipulating or imitating reCAPTCHA, injecting fake errors, and disrupting trust signals. Even with a consistently high version 3 score of 0.9 across multiple networks, I was suddenly blocked. That wasn't the result of my behavior changing, it was the result of the system being tampered with. In fact, many of Google's own services, such as Gboard, continue to recognize me correctly and help me stabilize my trust profile. Google has been working to address these issues, but the broader ecosystem is messy. This is a case where outside interference created failures that looked at Google's fault even though the underlying cause was elsewhere. To summarize, score 0.9 is consistently verified. False challenges triggered by external interference. Google trusted, affected, and working to improve the situation, and they're being framed. The harm is real, the confusion is significant. Google has no motive at all or incentive to undermine its own trust infrastructure. Their systems are designed to reward consistent, legitimate behavior, and my recaptcha version 3 score reflects that. I've maintained a steady score of 0.9 across clean networks, sessions, and devices. If Google intended to penalize users, it wouldn't be consistently I wouldn't be consistently recognized as trustworthy. These issues we're seeing aren't just ordinary failures. They're failures that don't align with how the system is supposed to behave. They're impossible. Outages and glitches appear across regions, browsers, languages, and even Google's own demo pages 24/7, 365. That kind of widespread disruption doesn't point to intent. It points to complexity, misconfigurations, or external interference affecting the broader ecosystem. I occasionally check my score using Google's official reCAPTCHA endpoint, and it consistently returns 0.9. When the system can't retrieve a score, it doesn't even assign a low one, it simply returns nothing. That's not a sign of mistrust, it's a sign of connection to service instability. So if version 3 continues to trust me, why does version 2 behave so differently? That inconsistency is part of the larger problem. Version 3 recognizes me legitimately as a legitimate user, while version 2 can fail in ways that feel arbitrary and disruptive. The trust is there, the system around it is what is struggling. This evidence of my recaptcha version 3 score of 0.9, this evidence, the response was obtained recently, and it reflects exactly what I've been saying. Google's trust in me has remained consistent. My behavior has not changed. The system continues to recognize me. So, received response from backend, success true. Hostname recaptchademo.appspot.com. Challenge timestamp is there. Score 0.9. Action is example / version 3 scores. There's no error codes. This is what a stable trust profile looks like. Right here. This is what a stable trust profile looks like. Even when other parts of this ecosystem fail, version 3 continues to verify me correctly. That's why the sudden breakdowns in version 2 don't make sense. Not because of anything I did, but because the system around is unreliable. In contrast, recaptcha version 3 typically assigns a lower scores to behavior that appears automated, inconsistent, or potentially harmful. To illustrate how the system responds to different patterns, here's an example of the low trust response using the same timestamp and format. Success true. Hostname recaptchademo.appspot.com. Challenge timestamp 2026. Yeah, the same time score 0.3. Examples of version 3 scores. Error codes are suspected bot timeout duplicate. This is what a low score looks like. The system flags unusual behavior, assigns a lower trust value, and includes error codes indicating suspicion or repeated attempts. The contrast is important. My own score is consistently high. Well, this example shows how the system reacts when something appears irregular. The point is not to judge individuals. It is to show that the system can distinguish between trustworthy and untrustworthy patterns. That's why the failures I experienced don't align with my trust profile. The inconsistency lies not in my behavior, but the system stability. So in China, strict regulations govern digital accessibility and the removal of online barriers. Under these frameworks, including the principles outlined in the Zhonghua Renmin Gonghe, I'm trying to pronounce it, the Chinese barrier-free access law, traditional CAPTCHA systems are widely avoided on major platforms due to the complete criminalization and illegality. Consequently, services such as Bing China do not use recaptcha version 2 or similar challenge-based systems. The rationale behind these restrictions is rooted in accessibility and user burden. CAPTCHA systems often create obstacles rather than removing them, and they can prevent users from accessing essential information or services. One notable exception is Baidu's slider-based verification, which appears to allow infinite repeated attempts and provides users more direct control. It is simple, predictable, and does not accuse users of automatic behavior, although further research needs to be done there. There isn't enough research yet, inadequate. These issues have significant consequences. When verification systems fail, individuals can lose access to medical information, mental health resources, or time-sensitive services. The stress caused by repeated verification failures is substantial and affects millions of people. In some cases, recaptcha systems malfunction in specific regions or network environments. Users have reported in situations where recaptcha version 2 fails to load properly, leaving only a spinning indicator and preventing access entirely. Even Cloudflare Turnstile, which is designed to be lightweight and unobtrusive, can occasionally loop or fail under certain conditions. These failures highlight a broader issue. Verification systems often struggle in real-world scenarios, particularly when network conditions, browser limitations, and regional restrictions are considered. Trying to breathe. Chronic stress poses significant health risks and can be life-threatening. Health organizations, including the World Health Organization, note that long-term stress can contribute to a wide range of physical and emotional difficulties. These may include digestive problems, headaches, sleep disruption, respiratory issues, and a weakened immune response. When the immune system is compromised, people can become more vulnerable to infections and illnesses. Stress can make it also harder for the body to recover, which can worsen the impact of conditions such as influenza or COVID-19. Chronic stress is also associated with a higher risk of certain long-term health problems. Beyond physical health, chronic stress can have a serious effect on mental well-being. It can contribute to anxiety, depression, and emotional exhaustion. And for some people, it may intensify thoughts of self-harm or suicidal feelings. These experiences are complex and deeply personal, and they highlight how important it is for people to have reliable access to support, information, and services when they need them. We must be clear and unwavering about this. CAPTCHA must be removed, not reformed, not rebranded, not redesigned. Every version of digital gatekeeping we have seen, no matter how well intentioned, has created barriers that harm real people. The suffering, exclusion, and loss that have resulted from these systems cannot be justified by the security benefits they claim to provide. The cost has been too high, and the human impact is too severe. The vision beyond. Imagine an internet where access is earned through trust, not withheld through suspicion. Where security tools protect us without humiliating us. Where no one is ever locked out of a hospital portal, a government service, or a communication platform because of a broken manipulative challenge box. In honor of a man who chose the truth, Alan Turing, Before concluding with this speech, I want to address the name invoked by so many of these systems. Turing. The T in CAPTCHA, the completely automated public Turing test, refers to Alan Turing. And I believe that it's important to reflect on what the association means. Alan Turing was not only a brilliant mathematician, he was a pivotal figure in modern computing and a person whose work helped change the course of history. His contribution saved countless lives, and he approached his work with commitment to truth, clarity, and intellectual courage. He endured profound injustice, yet he continued to contribute to the world with integrity and insight. Today, his name has been attached to systems that often do the opposite of what he stood for. CAPTCHA systems do not honor human dignity. They create barriers for people who are already vulnerable, those who are disabled, overwhelmed, multilingual, or simply trying to access essential information. They turn suspicion into default posture and force humans to prove their legitimacy to machines. The original Turing test asked whether a machine could think like a human, with a human acting as the judge. CAPTCHA reverses this dynamic. It demands that the human prove they are not a machine, often in ways that feel condescending, inaccessible, or dehumanizing. This inversion is more than just a technical quirk. It is a symbolic contradiction. It takes the name of someone who would expand human possibility and attach it to the systems that restrict it. It uses the legacy of a man who sought understanding to justify tools that often create exclusion. We deserve better. Alan Turing's name deserves better. His legacy represents openness, curiosity, and the belief that technology can serve humanity, not stand in its way. And when we look closely at the acronym itself, the irony becomes even clearer. CAPTCHA hides its own nature behind a neat arrangement of letters. If written more literally, it would resemble something far less friendly, a reminder that the facade has always been there, hiding in plain sight. This is not merely a technical issue, it is a human rights issue. And because of that, I'm calling on everyone here, lawmakers, developers, journalists, and everyday users, to demand the complete removal of CAPTCHA systems from the internet. We do not need more elaborate puzzles or more sophisticated barriers. What we need is freedom, accessibility, and dignity. Before I conclude this speech, I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna actually go to I'm gonna do a speech about Cloudflare Turnstile, and then we'll do a quiz together. And I'll actually do the answers for you. Although you can, if you want to attempt it yourself, you can actually look at the link in the video description. These are my references. And if anyone has any questions, you can let me know. You can let me know at the end if you have any questions. You can put it in the comment section. So now, I'm going to load my speech about Turnstile. Copy as path. Give me 1 sec, guys. What? I'm not... There we go. Just took a second. So sorry, I didn't actually update the dates. Today I'm discussing a revolutionary tool called Cloudflare Turnstile, an alternative to traditional CAPTCHA systems. References and citations will be given. What is Cloudflare Turnstile? Cloudflare Turnstile is an alternative to traditional CAPTCHA. Unlike other challenge-based systems, Turnstile is designed to be effective, privacy-focused, and user-centric. It aims to distinguish between humans and automated traffic without forcing people to solve intrusive puzzles or navigate demeaning verification tasks. Instead of treating users with suspicion, it works quietly in the background, minimizing friction. While still providing security. I have the hiccups. So, as a recap, traditional CAPTCHAs create accessibility barriers, user frustration, and unnecessary blocks. They present challenges that many people cannot complete, and they disproportionately harm individuals with disabilities or adults and anyone under stress. In the most serious cases, these barriers can delay access to essential services, contributing to real world harm. Cloudflare Turnstile helps websites verify that visitors are real people without relying on intrusive trust. So how it works. It quietly evaluates signals from normal browsing activities as basic interaction patterns without interrupting the user. It's non-intrusive. Most people never see it at all. In many cases, no interaction is required. Turnstile is designed to operate without invasive tracking or personal scoring systems. Its goal is to verify legitimacy, not profile to users. There's manage mode. Interaction is only requested if additional verification is needed. Even if it's minimal, it's often just a simple checkbox. It is, in fact, always just a simple checkbox. And there's also interactive mode, but they don't actually set that up for the production key. There's non-interactive mode. Verification happens automatically with no user action required. The system runs silently in the background, providing security without adding friction. Manage mode. So Cloudflare Turnstile includes a manage mode that behaves much like a non-interactive mode, with one key difference. If the system needs a little more certainty, it may ask the visitor to confirm they're human by clicking a simple checkbox, which is right there. This interaction is minimal and never escalates to puzzles, image grids, stored text, or audio challenges. All verification methods are lightweight, privacy respecting, and designed for real world traffic. In manage mode, Turnstile only requests interaction when absolutely necessary. When it does, the prompt is straightforward. A single checkbox labeled verify you're a human. There's nothing to interpret, no objects to identify, no trick questions. If verification fails, which is rare but it can happen, the checkbox simply resets and the user can click again. It does not escalate into more demanding challenges. For those worried about encountering traditional CAPTCHA puzzles, it's important to emphasize that Turnstile does not use them. The process remains simple and consistent. Some users have found that holding the click for a few seconds can help ensure a more smooth pass, but it's more of a practical tip than it's a practical tip rather than a requirement. It's called a pointer down event. The longer it is, it helps more. In certain browsers, a looping glitch can occur where the checkbox resets repeatedly. While this is inconvenient, it is not accusatory, intrusive, or punitive. It's a technical hiccup. So Cloudflare Turnstile includes a discrete mode that functions silently without displaying any badge or widget, making it visible to users. In very rare cases in this discrete mode, if this discrete mode encounters issues, it will switch to standard or manage mode. You can also have manage mode set up so it doesn't even appear unless interaction is required. So non-interactive mode. So Cloudflare's non-interactive mode verifies users automatically with no action required. When it succeeds, users simply see verifying success. This indicates that it completed success silently. If it doesn't work, if for some reason turnstile cannot confirm the visitors through the passive signals that for non-interactive mode for automatic verification. Users may see verify you're human. This means the simple click is meeting, and then it should say verifying success once you click there. So verifying success. This is if it used non-interactive mode if it failed. This is if it succeeds. Turnstile can be unstable in the DuckDuckGo browser, sometimes resulting in an infinite loop with a stuck troubleshoot message, which is generally stable on Firefox, although it's not perfect. This confirms that the managed mode is succeeded. In some browsers, a looping glitch may occur, but like I said, it's a technical one, not a punitive one. If Cloudflare Turnstile cannot verify the visitor, it displays a simple message like the one shown on the right. It will attempt verification automatically. Turnstile is designed to retry verification rather than punish or lock the user out. If the browser allows it, Turnstile will keep retrying until it succeeds. Even if this requires multiple attempts or several clicks. When the retry mechanism cannot function, for example, because the browser blocks the underlying scripts or storage, the widget may show an error message or fails to load. There's a known glitch on browser where it can get stuck. This can be frustrating, but it's not intrusive, it's not accusatory. It's still consistent with the Turnstile's overall design philosophy. The behavior is caused by strict browser privacy settings that prevent Turnstile from completing its verification, not that the user did anything wrong particularly. The looping issue rarely, if ever, occurs on Firefox. In Firefox, non-interactive mode does have a glitch where it may occasionally fail and then require a click. Where it'll occasionally fail and go to and default to and just use the fallback verify you're human. That's typically the only interruption. These differences may stem from compatibility issues between WebKit browsers and Turnstile verification methods. Turnstile also tends to perform more reliably when traditional CAPTCHA scripts are blocked, and I can show you that in a bit, and when Turnstile itself is whitelisted through tools like uBlock Origin and enhanced tracking protection. Interactive mode functions similarly to managed mode, but it always requires user interaction. To enable it, the difficulty setting in managed mode must be adjusted so that verification consistently requires input. This is the only practical way to activate interactive mode with the production key, but you can use the force interactive mode testing key, and I'll actually show you how that works too. Even when interactive mode is triggered, it remains simple and unobtrusive. If verification fails on the first attempt, Turnstile will try again and prompt the user to click once more. Like other modes, it does not escalate to puzzles or complex challenges. Turnstile also provides a testing key which developers can use to experiment with the system. Even in testing mode, Turnstile still offers a degree of protection, especially the force interactive mode, making it useful for demonstrations and development environments without exposing users to intrusive verification tasks. In practice, Turnstile tends to work more reliably in browsers that allow scripts to run normally. Benefits. Turnstile is designed to be highly effective while remaining non-intrusive. Here's how it works. When a challenge is issued, the Turnstile asks for a browser to perform a series of lightweight checks, JavaScript challenges, also known as proof of work, that checks that confirms the visitor's legitimacy. These checks rely on client-side signals or, when necessary, a minimal user interaction, just clicking a checkbox or pressing a button. These challenges are intentionally simple. They protect applications without introducing unnecessary friction or forcing users into puzzles. Now let me show you something. If I go to, it might actually got actually get stuck. It's possible. But let me show you that if you actually hold your click down, there's a possibility it's gonna actually get stuck. I want to show you how non-intrusive Cloud for Turnstile is, okay? Log in. There's a chance it's gonna get stuck. Okay, it got stuck. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna if I actually hold this down, it should work. And that actually succeeded that because I held it down. But somehow it's asking me for verifier the email. So just give me 1 second here. 304766. So you may not have noticed I actually held down my click for a few seconds before it actually went in, which can prevent it from getting stuck. I'm actually gonna load the quiz against CAPTCHA so I can show you. First of all, let me show you the infinite loop demo. Then I'm gonna go back to my speech, okay? It'll do that if it can't verify you. As you can see, it'll do that if it can't verify you. It'll just keep resetting like that. So, when it challenges the issue, Turnstile asks for the browser to perform a series of lightweight checks. These checks rely on client-side signals or, when necessary, minimum user interaction. These challenges, like I said, they're simple. So, Cloudflare Turnstile directly addresses the problems created by traditional CAPTCHA systems. It avoids the issues that have long made CAPTCHAs harmful and exclusionary, including accessibility failures, functionality breakdowns, user frustration, unnecessary blocks, barriers that disproportionately affect people with disabilities, disproportionate impact on older adults and other vulnerable groups, delays that can become dangerous or life-threatening in time-sensitive or high-stakes situations. The modern web is facing a troubling shift. Across the internet, hostile patterns are becoming increasingly common. Like I said, fake CAPTCHA redirects now mimic tools like Google Recaptcha and Cloud for Turnstile, tricking users into malicious sites. Legitimate websites, including community-driven platforms such as Mario Wiki, have been compromised by these deceptive mechanisms. Now, unlike Recaptcha version 2, for some reason, Cloudflare Turnstile doesn't ignore it does not ignore what's known as a pointer down event or a held click. So if you hold it for long enough, it's a guaranteed pass. So search results are polluted with malvertising traps and SEO poison links designed to lure users into unsafe pages. Even basic browser behavior is being exploited. With simple URL entries or search bar actions triggering fake bot check overlays. This is more than an inconvenience, so reflects a systemic failure. Turnstile addresses these issues by enhancing user trust, reducing fake redirects, securing legitimate sites, cleaning the search ecosystem, and it's adaptive security measures. It's not just outdated, it's actually adaptive. In conclusion, Turnstile is not only highly effective against alternative traditional CAPTCHA systems, it is a meaningful step toward a humane accessible, user-friendly web. It delivers strong protection while remaining unobtrusive, allowing legitimate users to move freely without being burdened by puzzles or barriers. As the web continues to evolve, tools like Turnstile show that security does not have to come at the expense of dignity or usability. With solutions built on respect for the user, we can move forward forward an internet that is safer, more trustworthy, and genuinely welcoming. Here are my references. Again, if you have any questions for this, you can tell me in the chat. Now, CAPTCHA doesn't fail everyone equally. It disproportionately harms people with low vision, motor impairments, cognitive difficulties, etc. Also, and then there's the language too. Unusual traffic, suspicious activity, we think it might be a bot. These systems don't just block access, they accuse the user of things they didn't do. They frame ordinary people as threats. It's a hostile pattern. It doesn't have to be this way either. We can build systems that don't interrogate users, don't rely on surveillance, and don't punish people for protecting their privacy. Here's the truth. You don't need to burden humans to stop bots. Honeypots, delayed actions, server-side validation, and simple rate limiting can filter out most automated traffic without ever interrupting a real person. Bots lack context. Humans don't. That difference is enough. If you build websites, you have a choice. You can continue using systems that frustrate and exclude people, or you can choose humane, accessible, privacy-respecting alternatives. If you're a user, you can demand better. The web was built for people. It's time our security systems remembered that. Thank you so much, everyone. Now I'm gonna go to the speech of mine. And I'm gonna do that thing where I did my held click again. So I'm gonna go to quiz against CAPTCHA at pages.dev. So let's do this quiz together, okay? What is the most likely cause of message? So it's this one. For question 2, let's do this. And then true, and then A, B, and D, and then China, and then China again, and then true, and then erodes trust, accessible audio challenge, CAPTCHA contradicts his ideals, and these are also from the speech too, so you can look at the speech to help you with this. Making Google appear negligent. Update trust score. No, actually, privacy first verification. A, and B for that one. A, B, C, D. Signs of injected behavior. Yes, it causes harm and chronic stress. It stands for completely automated public Turing test that to tell computers and humans apart. Turnstile is designed to replace traditional CAPTCHA. Turnstile is different because it's privacy focused. Non-interactive requires no interaction. It analyzes mouse movements. Invisible mode switches to manage if it fails. Checkbox only when needed for manage mode. If reset indicates that it's actually retrying you, it's making you retry. So interactive requires interaction every single time. And you see what that looks like at the end. So I'm gonna do verify automatically. They avoid intrusive data. Resets and retries. It reduces fake CAPTCHA redirects. I literally said that. Protects without intrusive tests. It restores user trust. It does this. Now I'm going to click check my score. It's going to do that. Alexa, set timer for 5 seconds.
5-second timer started.
Alexa, stop. So there we go. The verification succeeded. And I got everything right. And so thank you so much, everyone, for listening to my PSA here. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.